super excited for this video because we are talking about 3 things that you cannot do when you are growing your hair. Now, this may not be for everyone because this is for those who really want to grow their hair and see some length. It's one thing to feel the new growth on your scalp, but it is another thing when you see the length, okay? If that is you, this is for you. So stay tuned. Okay, number 1, you cannot neglect your scalp. This is something that's going to be very important, especially if you are trying to grow your hair. A lot of times we focus so much on our hair itself and we kind of neglect our scalp. I've been guilty of doing that, okay? So I recommend doing periodic scalp checks. This can be done on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis, but basically you're looking for bumps on the scalp, any flakes, product buildup, redness, inflammation, things like that. That is in a sense like your scalp communicating to you, letting you know that it needs something. Now, I recently did a video on unclogging your pores for hair growth, and in that video I mentioned a few remedies that I recommend, such as rinsing your hair with witch hazel, applying tea tree oil to your scalp, doing ACV rinses. All of these things are great for achieving optimum scalp health for longer hair. And I mentioned recently that our scalp is like an environment. So if the temperature of our scalp is off, then it's going to lead to issues with hair growth and just a lot of other things that you don't want. And if you want to achieve the maximum amount of growth that your body, your scalp can give you, do not neglect your scalp. Okay, number 2 is you do not want to neglect your ends. Your ends are going to be the gateway to length retention. Once again, your hair is growing up here, okay? You can feel the new growth. You can feel the little bumpies, you know what I'm talking about. But if your ends are like struggling, you're not gonna see the length that you wanna get, okay? So your hair has a life cycle. That's the best way I can describe it. Up here is the baby, the teenager, the adult, the elderly. This is the oldest part of your hair, so you want to make sure that you baby it. Give it some TLC. When we comb our hair, we know what's the golden rule: start from the ends up. But when you're starting from the ends, really just take your time. I always tell people, when you're combing your hair, don't do it when you're mad, don't do it when you're tired, don't do it when you're in a rush, okay? Now, I want to say this: the enemies of your ends are the following: dryness, split ends, and what you do to it on a daily basis. So number 1, with the dryness, there is a method that came out way back when you know, natural hair care and just the hair care community was just coming about, like around 2008, 2010, called the bagging method. And that is a method where you take either a conditioner or a moisturizer and you know, just focus it on your ends and cover it up with some type of baggie, whether that's like a Ziploc bag or a plastic bag. But the whole point of it is to give your ends extra moisture to avoid breakage. So that is one option that I do recommend. You can find plenty of videos on here on how to do the bagging method. So definitely check that out if you suffer from dry ends. Number 2, what's number 2? Number 2 is going to be split ends. That's the second enemy. So trimming your hair periodically. You know, you don't have to do it like once a month, every week, every day. Do it as you need to do it. I believe in the search and destroy method. You know, every once in a while, really just go throughout your hair. Take your time and look at the ends. If you see anything looking kind of straggly or kind of split, or little daggone fairy knots that no one likes. I know I don't like no fairy knots. Clip them things, cut it off, because split ends, I'm gonna be honest with you, are kind of hard to repair. I haven't seen a product on the market yet. If y'all know something, let me know that really repairs them and that has been clinically shown. But if you guys find something, let me know. But split ends, all they're gonna do is rise up, you know, just split all the way up. You know, so if you see them, just cut them off, just get rid of them. And the third enemy is what you do on a daily basis. So kind of going back to combing your hair, when you style your hair, you know, how gentle are you being with your hair? Your hair is like silk. It's like a very delicate fabric. So you want to be very careful with it, okay? So do not neglect your ends. Okay, and the last thing that you cannot do if you are trying to grow your hair is you cannot neglect your hair growth product of choice. What does that even mean, Tanya? What it means is if you purchase a hair growth oil or whatever, a hair growth vitamin, do not neglect it, meaning be consistent with it. Follow the directions and track your progress, okay? Now, I know that sounds like duh, but believe it or not, and I've been guilty of it, you get so excited about this hair growth oil and you do it for the first few days, you're consistent with it, yeah. But then week 2 come, week 3 come, and it's like, oh man, I forgot to add my stuff. Oh, I forgot to apply it tonight. Oh, I forgot to take a picture. And we forget. I mean, it happens, you know? But I want to say this, with anything in life, not just hair care, but anything in life, you want results, you need to be consistent with it. So if you guys can be consistent with the product that you guys are using, because that will really determine if it actually works. It's not going to work if you are not consistent, and if it does work and you're not being that consistent, imagine how much more growth you're going to get and how much more results you're going to get when you are consistent with that particular product, okay? So track your progress. Also, take before and after photos. That will help you see the length and the difference of what's taking place within your hair. So do not neglect your hair growth product of choice. Alright guys, hope you have enjoyed this video on 3 things that you cannot do when you are trying to grow your hair. Hope you guys learned something new. Thank you guys for subscribing and watching Curly Chemistry content. Thank you guys, make sure your notifications are on so you don't miss a beat, alright? Because I got some great content coming up. I'm so excited. Can you tell? I am so excited. But of course, I have a question for you. In the light of learning things, I want to know from you. Yes, you. What is one thing that you learned recently about your hair? Maybe it's something you learned this past week, this past month, this past year. What is that one thing that you have learned about your hair? Okay, let me know, comment below, and I cannot wait to see your responses and join the conversation with you. Be sure to check out the Curly Girl's Guide to Hair Care Ingredients if you have not done so already, especially if you're interested in learning more about the ingredients in your products. So definitely check it out. I have a link below for you. And if you're interested in starting a hair care line, to work with me one-on-one, no matter where you are on the journey, I have a link below for you with more information. All right, guys, I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.